Hi, Capricorn. Welcome to your energy check-in. I hope all of you are doing well. While I was meditating for your reading, I got a really profound visual for you that I wanted to share with you. I basically saw like a journey, like a timeline, and a young child standing on top of a cliff, looking out into the horizon, and Capricorn's life kind of mapped out, in key milestones, key moments that took place. And a lot of emotion came over me. Deep, deep, I feel I have to say deep once again, because I really, really recognize the depth of understanding, of looking back on the trajectory of your life up until this point and seeing how hard it has been for some of you. And I kept basically looking at that visual and the child is, and I think there is some meaning for why there's a child on top of the cliff, not a grown up. I think because it's about connecting back to your childhood desires, childhood dream. And it's almost like your childhood dream, whatever that is for you in your life, whatever legacy you wanted to create or you thought as a child that you will create in this lifetime. Imagine that dream standing on top of the cliff and looking back on how life has turned out to be for you, Capricorn. And you're literally like recapping, you're having your Kodak moments of like the good times, the really good times, the happy moments, the really dark moments, the difficulties, the obstacles, the challenges that came up in your life. So imagine you could visualize just those key crucible moments in a timeline and you're standing at a height. So you've got that bird's eye view now that, that the perspective to look at those moments as crucible moments. And the voice that I kept hearing in that visual was, it was all me. Oof, I'm getting kind of emotional here because I feel just give me a few seconds to just get myself together. Holding space for this emotion because this emotion is the message. It was all me. That's God, that's divinity, that's the universe, that's your spirit team, whatever you consider sacred. They're saying it was all me. The good times, the tough times, the bad times, the horrible, dark moments. It was all me. Now, what they mean by that is, um, I love how that happens. What they mean by that is they're saying, keep going. Yes, you can get the message out. Wow, sometimes it's really hard. This work is really hard, but it was all me. All the roadblocks, the obstacles, and the wins and the solutions was all the universe, your spirit team, God, whatever you consider sacred and holy, or whatever you believe in outside of yourself. It doesn't even have to be sacred or holy, because I know those can be trigger words for some people, but they're saying if you now zoom out and you stand on top of that cliff, they invite you to stand next to that child on top of that cliff and look at your life, make that timeline of your life. And maybe some of you, this is a good exercise to do. Write down from whatever you can remember, as far back as you can go in your life, write down the crucible moments that you think have shaped you, defined your life, in a good, bad, constructive way, whatever. Don't judge it. Just pen down all those moments. It was all spirit trying to give you the experiences you needed. Coming back, Capricorn, to this energy. Sorry, I had to take a moment to just ground myself because there was like a lot of things happening at the same time. It was a little bit overwhelming. Um, it was all me. It was all you. It was your higher self. It was you going through the experiences that you needed to continue to walk on your soul's journey. And that timeline, as you stand next to this child on top of the cliff, that is your soul's path. Some of you have denied these memories of the difficult times and you have buried them under the carpet like we all do. They're saying embrace it. The pain that these experiences brought you were the fuel that was needed to bring you to where you are today. And the more you can slowly, slowly start to embrace the pain, embrace the difficult times, the more joy and the more authenticity you will start to experience in your everyday life. Because there is a certain wisdom that spirit has to this synchronicity or to this timeline. And they want you to, one step at a time, invite courage to the conversation, invite humility to the conversation, invite support and your community, and start to embrace one difficult crucible moment after the other and have a profound realization that had it not been for those moments, you wouldn't be where you are today and you wouldn't be walking your authentic soul path. Oh, Capricorn. Okay, finally managed to get that message out. I hope I was able to do justice to it. And I think it was the reflecting. Yeah, anytime I'm tapping into the past energy, it's feeling quite heavy and quite, it's filled with deep emotion. So there's some elements of your past that have been way too difficult, way too heart-wrenching. But they keep saying it was all me, it was all us. We had to give you the experiences that you needed to cultivate the skills that you have today, the emotional skills, the mental bandwidth to be able to walk your soul path with confidence from here on. That's beautiful, Capricorn. That's very profound. And I know that a lot of you watching are connecting with this energy. And it's a little bit, we're going to examine that child and you standing next to the child. It's like you're holding space for all the childhood dreams. You're walking hand in hand now. You're standing right next to that dream, whatever you thought your life would be. You know, as a young person, they say we know ourselves the best. So if you're confused about what your life purpose is, you know, if you're really young in your journey right now, go back to those early childhood years, whatever you can remember, go as way back as you can. That's when you knew yourself the most. And they're saying that's why the reference of the child on top of the cliff, because they are trying to make you remember what you truly wanted as a child, how you imagined your life to be, what were your hopes, dreams, wishes. And don't think that, oh, I'm so far off from that dream. It's futile to think about that because they're saying we are paving the way for that dream to come about, but it had to kind of take this zigzaggy, twisted route. So stick with spirit. It was all them. It was all me. I keep hearing. Wow, I have the death card at the bottom of the deck. We are in Scorpio season. This is a massive reawakening, massive. And it's interesting, the word reawakening, as if you felt you've had your awakening on these moments, but there's actually another layer of meaning that has to be attributed to this, and it's coming through. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Spirit, for those messages. Let's build on that. Let's build on that. The bird's eye view is powerful. It's what will drive the next decade of your life, is what I'm hearing. The zooming out and meaning making, giving meaning to everything that has happened in your life to help you get to where you are today. Wow. Six of Cups, that child, that inner child has shown up as your first card. That child wants to be acknowledged, wants to be recognized, wants to be given some space in your life. And when I say the child, it's a memory of your childhood. It's something, a very particular incident that scarred you, that came up in your childhood that you have not allowed to come into your conscious memory. And we all do this. It's a coping mechanism for humans. But they're saying there's something. Now the child is standing next to you. What would you like to say to that child? What would you like to say to that emotion, that feeling? You're no longer that child, but some of us are still holding on to those wounds and acting from that place of hurt, acting from that place of pain, because it's too painful. It hurts too much to go back there. And obviously, if you need to do this with someone, with professional help, of course, by all means, but the time has come to examine that wound. King of Wands. Yep, it's time to take that bold step forward. And some of you are going through a massive glow up in your life, like whether it's work life, love life, you're going through a massive glow up. You're becoming the king of your passions, of your soul. And they're saying in order to really rewrite or start the next chapter of your soul's journey, that Six of Cups needs to be examined. That child needs some recognition, some validation. Page of Pentacles, really childlike energy, wants to say something to you. So a good meditation technique could be sitting with yourself and going back to those one or two moments that feel really, really painful and just holding space for that experience to unfold. And observe what thoughts are coming into your head. What is that inner child trying to say to you or has been trying to say to you over all these years? What is this about? What is this about? Six of Wands. You don't feel seen. You don't feel understood. You feel like the world just moved on and you're still stuck in that one moment. Time just keeps passing by. Many cycles, many seasons have come and gone. But that pain, that victory seems out of reach always. This has led to, in a very tactile way, a sense of comparing yourself to others, comparing how others can just whiz past their problems, how they've gained all this worldly success, the fortunes, that have come to these people, while you've just been left with this wound, with this pain, with this hurt. That's I mean, some of you obviously won't resonate with everyone, but some of you have taken that kind of approach to everything that's happened in the past. And we all do it, to constantly compare ourselves to others. Where does Spirit want you to go? Where does Spirit want you to go? What does it need you to examine? The Nine of Pentacles. Some of you had to grow up very quickly. You had to look after your own finances, become financially independent, even when you were a child. You had to earn for yourself and for your family. And you sometimes feel that resentment that you never really got a childhood because you just had to work through it. You had to become a grown-up. You had to parent your parents. Yep, that sense of financial loss, lack, inadequacy, even if it's not financial, though I think for a lot of us in the collective, it is about this, but how you had to rise, and this obsession with never having to go down that road of where there wasn't enough to eat, there wasn't enough money to do anything, has made you a certain kind of independent, which you've shut down, or you've not allowed other people to come in. you always wanted to be in control because childhood was quite chaotic and you didn't have control on the situation then. So you've constantly seeking for it now in your adult life. King of Swords. And that heart or the wands or the cups, they've just switched off. It's just about being, let's be real about this. Let's have a real conversation, like really guarded energy. I don't want to get emotional about this. I don't want to go there. I don't want to have this fuzzy and like, you know, yeah. And then the universe steps in and says, we are going to go there. We're going to go there. And we're going to start again with this Ace of Wands. And you're going to get to the King of Wands, which is the maturity of the suit. All suits go from aces to kings. And kings represent like manifestation of the highest, the most mature form of that energy. You're going to go there. From the King of Swords, you're going to go to the King of Wands, passionately connected to yourself, passionately connected to yourself, and a recognition why they want you to stop on top, stand on top of that cliff and examine the crucible moments is because this lack, this sense of inadequacy still plagues you in more ways than one. I know that you know this. You know it deep in your heart. You know it deep in your soul that you're holding yourself back. You're being too hard on yourself because you never want to go back there. But we are going to go back there because it was all spirit, and spirit's with you. It's going to guide you along the way. What is this going back there? What is this Five of Pentacles? What's happening here? And I'm sorry if this reading is becoming a bit triggering. I completely respect if you have to step away from it and rewatch it some other time. I get that. The King of Wands wanting to show up again. This is could also be about a parent that you just have. Oof, yeah, the emotions are coming back. Yeah, the Three of Swords. This parent really, I feel they really broke you. I feel they broke every shred of confidence, every shred of self-esteem, every shred of sometimes I think, oh gosh, families can be huge triggers, huge triggers. Um, and people think that home is where you're the most safe, but for a lot of you, that wasn't the case. You're feeling a lot of pain. Yeah, I'm seeing the Nine of Wands. I'm just going to pick it up. You've had to have your walls up throughout your entire life because you just can't. Oh, yeah, this is a difficult one to churn out. This could be like a father figure, um, who ran after just money, who just followed like money or like left your family in pursuit of money. And for the longest time, you thought that was the playbook for doing life, especially if you associate yourself with masculine energy. I think you learned this lesson erroneously. Can't say the word, but it was an error, but you somehow integrated the error into your life story, thinking that Oh, that's how you do life. You basically chase after the money, relationships, family, love. That stuff just comes and goes. It pales in comparison to worldly success. And somebody taught you this, and you subconsciously picked up that it's just about the stability, the financial stability. And why do I feel that something has happened in your life where you've just realized that maybe that's not the playbook for life? Maybe it's not just about money, it's not just about getting your, I mean, of course, it is about getting your physical needs met for sure, like in Maslow's hierarchy, but you're suddenly, what has happened, Capricorn, is that your heart has been knocking, 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 and then you haven't been paying attention to it. So it's just slammed the door down and said, I need to be recognized, I need to be seen. And I feel one of the things that the child on top of the cliff is saying is that I just need to be seen. Yeah. This is a deep wound about not being acknowledged, not being loved, not feeling worthy of the love because you never knew it. It was never there at home. Let's zoom a little bit into the future. Let's look at what's coming in because I feel that's where the hope comes from. When you're on top of that cliff and you're looking, the next chapter actually is a very positive one because you finally, after decades, after like eons, like you finally, and this could be like over multiple lifetimes, I'm hearing for some of you, that you finally don't have a choice, but you have to look at your heart because it's standing right in front of you and it's saying, I need to be seen. Yeah. You start to walk towards that light finally. You finally sort of wake up to your true potential, wake up to that true inner knowing that there's always been escaping you because you know there has to be something more to this than just the money, than just the worldly pursuits. You start to walk towards that, and that's when, look, the Knight of Cups is here. And it doesn't have to be a person, but it's just, it could be, but I think this is just the concept of love. It shows up at your door, you know, with a bunch of red roses and a letter that basically is the story of your life up until now. So it's more like a book. Wow, this is a massive opening up. Oh my God, it breaks down this bubble that you've been living in, where you're like, come what may, I have to protect myself. Your guard is always up. It breaks it all down. And what happens? The healing starts to begin, the Four of Swords. You will have a little bit of a reset moment once all these epiphanies and these major energies start to come to surface, which happens in Scorpio season, which is all about uncovering, all about going super deep and it coming to the surface. And you have to examine the uncomfortable truths about your life, about other people's lives as well. But you finally get a way or like a recipe of how to deal with it, how to cope with it. Yeah, the Ace of Swords, the clarity finally comes in that, hey, I have to go there. I have to examine this. I have to examine this. And that's when the true victory starts to seep in. The recognition that, hey, I've just had my walls up for so long. And you also have the same card before, right? The Six of Wands. But that Six of Wands was really a lot about like financial independence, the tactile, the very material aspects of life. But today you understand how you've been trying to be successful, but with your walls up. And today you've come up with a different definition of success. The same cards are coming out, the chariot, because this is a new cycle with the same outcomes. Sorry, with different outcomes, with different ways to get to different outcomes. Because one was a very tactile 3D world kind of success, And some of you had a major epiphany, and you now know that getting all the money, the riches, the house, and all of that, or whatever that means for you, didn't feel like you thought it would. And therefore, now you crave that meaning, you crave something deeper. What is this that Capricorn is craving, is reaching out for? Yeah. You really want to be on top of your life. You don't want to be dictated by the cycles of anything anymore. You want to be the captain of your own ship. You want to take the wheel. Love that for you, Capricorn. Love that. Like, you don't want to be dictated by that wound. You don't want to be dictated by the memories, by the difficult times that you went through. You want to be dealing with it. You want to take charge of it. 10 of Cups. Wow. That leads to your absolute abundance, your absolute joy. This is a new definition of family. This is a new definition of what home should feel like, should look like. Some of you are married, you have kids, and now you're coming to this realization how perhaps this is a difficult message to relay, but how perhaps you've robbed them also sometimes of that love and made them just very focused on the money and being successful because that's the only template that you knew. And now you're like, wait a minute, I need to connect from my heart chakra. I need to connect from a place that feels more real, more connected to source energy. Temperance, that is your true healing, your understanding about divine timing, your understanding about the ebbs and flows of life, but you want to be in charge. You want to take this and grab life and just make what you need to make out of it. That's your card at the bottom of the deck, Capricorn, the devil. And I feel from a very energetic standpoint, these limiting beliefs, these doubts are no longer going to have such a strong hold on you because your heart has come knocking and it's saying, acknowledge me. And you will have no choice but to acknowledge it. And when you acknowledge it is when these epiphanies, angel of love, these adjacent possibilities start to open up for you. And this is bigger. This is bigger than money, career, love. This is bigger. This is a soul reckoning. This is like waking up when you've been in a slumber for decades. This is like, oh my God, finally, it all makes sense. And it has come with massive introspection, but also massively connecting with your emotions, with your feelings. Yeah, goddess of the moon. The moon is always about what's unclear, your intuition. Like I was saying, you always knew that voice in your head, something wanted to come out, something was trying to say that, hey, acknowledge me, address me. The moon, the full moon, and actually the Scorpio new moon that just happened on the 1st of this month, 1st of November, I think could have really set this awakening in motion for you. Some of you could have felt really these deep, wallowing kind of emotions. Envy. So that thing that we were talking about, comparing yourself to others, it's dropping that mask, it's dropping that envy, it's dropping that tactile comparison because now you're like, well, it doesn't really matter. Your cards are flying. Sorry, give me a second. Yin and yang, now the balance of masculine and feminine energy, of action and of receiving, of holding space, of love, of darkness and light, all of that is coming into place for you. And you have victory. Oh my God, the third time that you pulled a victory card. You pulled the Six of Wands twice and the victory card once again. And this is victory over what? Over your attachment wounds, over something that has kept you chained to this past resentment, past hurt. Some of you are going to be able to finally forgive a parent or your parents for something that happened. You're going to be able to forgive yourself as a young child that was trying to do the best and trying to make as much sense of the difficult situation that, a child can. And you are finally understanding that how deeply it has impacted you and it has made you into the person that you are today. And if there's certain parts of that person that are not aligning with who you want to become, then this is step one of that change, because you first need to acknowledge it head on, which you are doing or will do. And that's when the change starts to come in. Oh my God, Capricorn, I'm so honored to be in your space. Thank you, Spirit Team, for helping us get to these really, really deep emotions today and really let the collective have this opportunity to fully heal this past wound and release a new beginning in life. I have so much love for you, Capricorn. Thank you so much for holding space for this message. Please let me know in the comment section how it connected with you. I love reading for the sign of Capricorn. I think you've been on such a journey, and it just gets deeper, deeper, and deeper. And I'm just honored that I get to do this and relay these messages for you. Take care, Capricorn. I wish you all the best. Bye bye.